Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu, mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services. Discover how to craft your luxury pitch in today's session with Reland. Réland Logan is an award-winning brand creator and the founder of the BrandExtraordinary method. B2B female consultants hire her to perfect their brand. Message in 1 to 3 business days to attract their ideal audience so they can land 6-figure clients with ease. She does this by helping brands go from ordinary to extraordinary with a little extra. So the first question is, what's the secret to your success?
You know, the secret to my success, Lily, is really finding myself and digging a little bit deep. When I was younger, it was such a negative connotation to be extra, and you just had to kind of sit down, be quiet, and put yourself in a box and be like everyone else. But when I started to just show up as myself and really pull ahead of the pack, take that extra mile that nobody rarely travels, that's when I started to see success blossom, when I stopped being like everyone else and really tapped into what makes me extra. And that is the whole meaning behind everything that I do, from taking things from ordinary to extraordinary, because it's that little extra in all of us that is what sets us apart and really makes us strong at whatever it is our heart desires. For me, that's branding.
Thank you. And how can entrepreneurs craft a luxury pitch?
So when it comes to crafting a luxury pitch, I think we have been just told time and time again that we have to pitch our services and we position ourselves and we need to niche. But what we start to do is we start giving out these free audits all over the place. And especially in today's society, we assign value to the products that we purchase. So if you were to go buy a handbag from Gucci versus buying a handbag at your local store, we really consider those to be two different things. And so when it comes to creating a luxury pitch, I really firmly believe that you should charge for that, because we are giving away our intellectual property for free all over the place. And yes, we should serve and we should build our authority online and our prestige, but we can do that by sharing those things on social media, whether that's YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever it is that you show up, you can serve. But when it's time to pitch, you're going to better serve those folks by giving them a plan. So when I talk about doing luxury pitches, I believe that you should charge for that. It should be a lower rate, an entry-level product that is a part of your service offerings. And you actually give them the plan that you would have given them in a pitch anyways, but with a little bit more detail, because now they are getting value that they can take and execute. And especially in creative agencies, we see that we'll spend all this time creating a pitch, and then we give it to them, and then they execute on those ideas, but never hire. And that also happens with consultants, and that happens with a lot of service-based businesses. So if you take that and you put in a little bit extra, just a little bit extra, and give them more details on what it would look like, what are the top 5 things that you would fix based on the problem that they came to you with, ask them all the questions that you would ask in that free audit, okay? Take that information back, create the pitch just like you would have, put it in your document, but then get them on a call after the fact and say, let's go through this together. So now they've paid to sit there and really explain their problem full out, no longer having to listen to it on this call where they're not giving you 100% of their energy and effort. They are already invested at this point. Then you're taking that and you are really dialing in, okay, what are the top 5 things that is going to take this person from X to Y in order to get them to where they need to go? Then you are getting back on a call with them for FaceTime to say, hey, this is the plan that I would take you through in order to make you get to your goals that you are looking to achieve. And then at the end of that plan, I put exactly what it would cost if they want me to do it for them and with them, or if they want to go ahead and take it on their own and implement on their own, good for them. My time was sacred and was valued. So I gave them my best work. They can take and implement, or they can choose to take what I've already shared with them and have me help implement it with them. Therefore, creating this luxury experience where how can they say no? The only thing that they would probably say no to is maybe they don't have the funds, but they can always come back to you and say, we're ready now. So now you're not feeling like you're running uphill and still getting pushed down with a rock by doing all of these free proposals. You are skipping the line for proposals because they've already invested in you. So why wouldn't they continue to work with you? And that is what it means to create that luxury pitch where you're getting paid for your time. They're getting extra value that you probably wouldn't have put in a free pitch. And it allows you to set yourself up for these performance packages that they can't help but say yes to. And that is how I create these luxury packages and pitches that really just make people say, I want to work with you. And the barrier to entry was so easy.
Okay, sounds really great. And what do you think are the top mistakes that entrepreneurs make when it comes to creating and crafting their luxury pitches?
I think the thing that the number one mistake, if I just had one, it's they don't do a very strong job of painting the picture. You know, when we tell stories and we use analogies, like it's one thing to say, I rode my bike. It's a whole nother thing to say, I felt the wind in my hair, my lips were getting chapped because I was speeding so quickly down this hill and all the trees were a green blur. That paints the picture and you can feel that wind in your face. And so when we're doing this for business pitches, we need to explain and tell the story of what it actually feels like if they achieve their goals. What it is, we need to push into those pain points and say, you're feeling this way. And you want to feel this way, and what life looks like on the other side of that. And so a lot of times it's just a bullet point, and bullet points don't have emotions. And so you have to craft that emotion within that pitch to explain how somebody is going to feel on the end of it. Because right now they are in night sweat territory. They are living in night sweats. It's not fun. And they want to get across the bridge to birthday wishes. And in order to get to that, you need to paint the picture to show them how you can get them across that bridge, because right now they're too terrified to take the first step. So painting the picture is going to be the number one thing that I'm constantly giving feedback on when I'm working with people, is we just have to paint the story a little bit bigger. The next thing that I see people making a huge mistake on is they don't step into their authority. So it is a lot of words like, you might want to do this, or you might like this. There's no might or liking or any of that. It is, you need to do X, you need to do Y in order to achieve Z. And when you step into that ability to say, I'm the expert, I know what you need to do, it actually creates, instead of making somebody feel bad, it creates a sense of safety that you can be trusted. And that you know exactly where they need to go and you can help guide them through that path. Whereas when you're wishy-washy with your words, it makes it very difficult to trust you. And so you're breaking down trust at a subconscious level that you'd never intended to do. And that's a good reason why many people would tell you no at the end of it.
Thank you so much. And how do you build this emotion so that entrepreneurs would be able to sell their packages and also not allow that emotion that is being built on the call to wither away when they actually start talking to their wife, to their partner, to their friend, to their whoever? How do you make sure that emotion doesn't wither away?
The way that I make sure emotion doesn't wither away is I personally spend a lot of time practicing writing and finding the stories in everyday life. And so you have to, before you can start finding the stories in everyday life, like that is a very good practice to take with you, because it's going to not just build these pitches, it's going to build a lot of the content that you create over time, right? Like life happens and life is in stories. And before we had computers, before we had books, like we had verbal storytelling over fire. So storytelling is very important to human nature, but you've got to get into the psyche of the folks that you're working with, and you need to know when they're in that night terror space, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they doing? And then when they have their wins and their birthday wishes, what are they thinking, feeling, and doing? And if you can tell those stories while putting together thinking, feeling, and doing, they're going to be able to take that to their wives, take that to their husbands, take that to whoever their significant other is, or maybe it wasn't the main decision maker on that call. But then they can start to move that through because they're naturally going to start to pinpoint what they were thinking, feeling, and doing, and what is the company thinking and feeling and doing as they make these decisions, and inject that into the stories. Very similar to how we watch movies. That happens in movies day in and day out. When we go to the movie theaters, we start to understand what the characters are thinking, how they're feeling, and we watch the actions that they're doing. And that is impactful to storytelling, and it stays with people. And so it's important that those three things are in every single story that you tell within that pitch.
Thank you. And how did you become an awakened Titan? And how did you use that into your business strategy to craft luxury pitches?
So to become an awakened Titan, I mean, I think I had to have a internet slap in the face, which is so sad to say. But I just started to get all these ads that were like manifestation and like, pay attention to this. And I was like, okay, fine. I will click on it. Like, you win. You win, internet. And so I started to dive into like sounds and like sound baths and like different theta waves to really like open that up. And I went through during this time, I was going through a serious depression. It was not pretty. It honestly was like one of those turn points in your life where you just have to say, like, I either need to get up or get out. And I just needed a huge change. And at this time, my business wasn't doing well. Like, nothing was doing well. And so when I stopped and I paused and I really took a break, like a true life break, I started to notice the little things. And I started to dig deeper into myself to discover that ability to be extra and realize that what my business wasn't actually serving me or the people that I needed to serve. And so I started to do reframe exercises. I actually have one on my desk in front of me where I would take a negative part of my mindset and I would reframe it and put them all over the house so I can remember why it is that I do what I do. And I sit with my journals and I write, and I find some of my best ideas in my personal silence. And that is really what has like brought in this like over large awakening to being able to be the business owner that I am today, and to be able to find the deep core of folks' brands and their pitches and all of these other service offerings that come with that. I honestly had to go real low in order to climb out and find a new me.
Thank you so much. And do you have, can you share with us some of your achievements that you've personally achieved or that your clients have managed to achieve thanks to this awakening that you personally had?
Yes, actually, like personally, from a financial standpoint, like I went from, like I said, no money to all of a sudden having 20, 30, 40K months, like instantaneously within a month of changing everything for my business, how I pitch, all those pieces. And so that's like foundationally really strong. But because I teach this process as well, I've had a lot of female consultants have very similar results, some of which are getting 100K clients just from having a $3,500 luxury pitch that people are purchasing. And so we're starting to just see terrific wins all the way around in what that means for them. I have also, it means a lot in my heart to work with folks who maybe below the poverty line but want to start a business. And so I work with them here in the States, and I had one person come to me and he's like, I'd just be happy if I made $500 a month, which to me was like, how are we going to run anything? And now that person is making 2K a month just from implementing these processes into their business and starting to see more and more wins when $2,000 a month seemed wild to them. And as we look at like what that growth looks like when we simplify a process and we really put that into motion, I mean, I'm on a mission now to, get people in this process where we're no longer doing free audits, where we put a name to our process and the way that we do things, where we're not just taking all the advice on the internet and thinking that that's going to be what makes us grow. We have to dive in deep and figure out, what is it about me as a person? How am I showing up that is going to be that differentiator? Because in today's society, there's just too many people do too much of the same thing. So how do you set yourself above and beyond that in order to have that authority and prestige that you deserve for yourself and your family? That's very powerful to me.
Thank you so much. And how did your personal values impact the way you show up in the world, and how was your business impacted by your personal values?
I think that at first, one of my biggest personal values is to have fun. I'm a very fun person. I feel like if things aren't fun, it's not getting done. Like, I truly believe in that. And so I find that personal value, like, kind of just sets me above and beyond sometimes, because business doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be this thing where you're hitting your head into a wall. Like, how can we create games out of it? Like, I've created a card game out of finding your brand archetype. And I have a game for finding people's values too, with a bunch of Post-it notes. Like, I just interject fun in everything that I do. And then another value for me is just authenticity. I want people to show up as their real, raw selves. I think that, we put on too many masks, we wear too many faces, and it's when we show up as our true human self. We want to help one person every day and give hope. And, that is a value that means the world to me. And so I know that I show up authentic. That's part of why I say, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is a little extra. I sometimes will make a joke that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I shouldn't be, because I'm a glass of champagne. Those are my two largest values. And then my next one would just be freedom. I just really believe that we should be free to make choices that sometimes aren't allowed to us in today's society. And we really, really should be able to live our lives, be with our children, and do things and create memories, because experiences are just greater than things. And I want the freedom to experience life.
Thank you. And how do entrepreneurs go from not charging for their consultations and from doing free audits to charging for this luxury pitch that you're talking about?
We have such a weird connotation with money, like, as a society, and sometimes it's so scary. It is so, 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 so scary. And what I always suggest to everybody is to say, hey, post it on the internet. Literally post this on the internet, or ask old past clients or people who didn't hire you and say, hey, I'm changing up my process and I'm looking for a few case study clients to work with me on insert what it is that you do for people. If you're interested, go ahead and send me a DM, and you're going to do it at a price that is comfortable for you. So pick a price that's a little scary. For me, that was $1,500. And my case study price was $500. So I did my luxury pitch, to be honest and true, is called a brand storm. It matches my brand. It's very tropical. And so I charged $500, and I got my first 5 people, and that changed the game. And then I bumped it up to $750, and then I bumped it up to $1,000, then I bumped it up to $1,500. What you need to do is you got to build confidence by doing. So just pick a number that is comfortable enough for you to say out loud at first. And don't call it a pitch. You're going to have to give it a name. Like, mine is called a brainstorm. Call it something special to you. And when you do this, it makes it feel like something they can't get anywhere else. And if they can't get it anywhere else, it now has value. And when it has value, people are willing to pay for something that's going to solve their problems. So assign it value, pick what you're comfortable with, and pick a number that you're a little uncomfortable with but want, and start to move the needle up to that space. And once you're booked out, then just raise your prices again, because now people are really paying you for it.
Great. And this brainstorm that you offer, is it 1 hour or half an hour, or how long is it?
So my brainstorms it's a 90-minute interview, and we go through what you need to start doing and stop doing in your brand. And I ask a lot of deep questions, some about your sales process, some about your brand, some about where you came from. Then I take that information, and I have about a week and a half turnaround time. I distill that information. I put it into a written plan. That plan is very pretty and approximately 5 written pages. And it goes through your current situation. It goes through what 5 things you need to fix right now. And then it goes through your North Star, and I put in like who your ideal audience is, how your website should be laid out. And then I write down what it would look like for me to execute on those things. And so I send it on a Friday before we meet. And then we come back together and we meet for about an hour to go over that, answer any questions, make any changes that you might want to make, because whatever's in that brainstorm is what we're executing on. And then I turn around and I take that brainstorm into a Making Waves project, and I get that brand done in 1 to 2 business days based on that plan.
Wow. Okay. That sounds really great. So I feel like we've learned quite a lot about how to craft luxury pitches. So my last question is, what's your message to entrepreneurs worldwide?
My message is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is a little extra, and you have everything. You have everything you need to be the person that you want to be. So tap into that little bit extra, go forth, like conquer the world, and you're going to be incredible. And you have a little bit extra in you too.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential, so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.